Hi, and welcome to this episode of Financial Planning Innovation. It's my pleasure to have on the show Alex Orlando. Alex and I met on LinkedIn, but he's a full service financial planner, and he's going to share with us some college planning concepts today. Thanks for joining us, Alex.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
So, again, I guess the two of us, when we're doing videos like this, people think we're too young to be in insurance and financial services, but obviously you have a lot of experience with this. But tell me about your background with doing these college savings plans.
I do get that a lot. Unfortunately, I always say the age is just a number. So I've been in this industry now for about 8 years, 7.5 of which were spent at a large brokerage firm in Manhattan. But over the past 4 months or so, I did go out and start my own independent practice
Mhm.
and have been doing so and plan to do so for many years to come.
So, where did this concept come from in terms of college saving? How did you learn about it, and what motivated you to want to do more of this?
Yeah, it's always a topic that's, I think, on the minds of a lot of clientele that I have, which are younger individuals with young kids who are looking to plan for what is going to be one of the largest expenses of their life, frankly.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so you always come up with the mindset that it's never too early to start, and it never is. But there are areas that a planner like myself can come in and add value.
yeah. And I this totally resonates with me too, because my kids are 5 and 3, and so one of the things that we have to set up as well, and I'm aware of this too, is a 529 plan. So I know
Mhm.
we're going to talk a little bit about this. So tell us first of all, what is a 529 plan?
Sure. So much like your IRA, your retirement account saves for that date down the road, 529 account does the same for college savings. In that the money that you put away, the money that you're able to contribute, grows tax free. And if used for qualified distributions, qualified college distributions, is tax free as well. So it's one of the very few things in this world that get that double free taxation.
Right. And I think I heard recently, maybe it was a part of recent congressional changes, right, with tax reform, that you can use the qualified expenses are now more flexible in what you can use them for. So maybe even like private high school expenses and things like
That
that.
is correct. Yeah, it's making its way around the 50 states, I would say, but they are starting to open that up to a dollar limit for secondary education, which is high school and even elementary school. So they are expanding the benefits and the uses of the 529 accounts, which also add into the planning aspects because it's a whole different conversation if you're going to be using those funds in 3 years versus 13 years.
Absolutely. And it probably also affects your investment horizon. Tell us a little about how you can invest money. Obviously, like an IRA, it's post tax, but tax deferred and then tax free if you use it for qualified expenses. But in the interim, it's growing. And what types of vehicles are being used?
That's right. Within the 529 account, and each state has their own plan, there are mutual funds and even index funds that you can invest into to hopefully grow along with the market. They even have models similar to target date funds in retirement plans that grow and adapt with your child's age. So, for example, the investments within that account for a 3-year-old are going to be far different than the investments within an account for a 15-year-old.
Very interesting. I know you've talked about different states and having different rules in different states. You had mentioned to me a client recently that you were working with, and we'll use that maybe to illustrate this concept. What was their situation? What was their backstory in terms of wanting to do this
Yeah,
529?
it's a topic that really resonated with me because they had been doing all the right things. They had set a budget. They had been contributing month after month, year after year, and truly had a nice base of savings looking for the future. What they missed out on, though, is the benefits in the short term that they had, which they weren't aware of.
Mhm.
In that some states, depending on where you live, offer state income tax deductions for the contributions that you can make to the plans. They are different for different states. Some states will allow you only that deduction if you use their plan. Others will let you use any plan and receive that same deduction. But it really is an added short term benefit for this long term goal that some people unfortunately miss out on.
Very interesting. And so, which state are you talking about in particular? I'm sure the audience wants to know, like, where are you getting a tax deduction in addition to being able to contribute to this tax deferred vehicle?
Sure, a good example is just our tri state area, where if you are in New York and you are a New York resident and contribute to a New York plan, you can get a state income tax deduction up to $10,000 per individual.
Very cool.
If you cross over the bridge into New Jersey, contribute to the New Jersey plan, contribute to New York plan, contribute to Connecticut plan, you do not get a tax deduction.
Okay.
So it really works out. That limited geography can make a huge difference in what you're able to do on a state tax level.
Okay. Well, two things pop into my mind. Make sure, of course, you work with an expert in this, a specialist, because they'll know these nuances. Also, obviously, this is dynamically changing. There's government rules that are changing, and obviously, some of the states are taking action to further incentivize these types of plans. So you want to stay on top of, what's going on in the marketplace here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is always one of those things that I tell my clients that they could be proud to tell their accountant about. Because
Mhm.
you go into your CPA's office and you mention you found out about 529 deductions and are there any benefits available to you? And they're going to be happy for that write-off if it's available.
Awesome. Well, I'm personally going to use some of this knowledge again for my kids and what we're trying to do. So thanks again for being on the show. And I hope to have you on future episodes as well, Alex.
It's my pleasure. I hope to be back. Thank you.